barn breathed with a quiet rhythm of an old thing still alive. Dust and the scent of sun-baked wood clung to the air, mingling with oil and the metallic tang of burning steel. Outside, the Oklahoma plains stretched golden under a storm-heavy sky. Tawnie Alexander moved with precision, sparks flying from her arc welder, each burst of light a heartbeat in the quiet space. Her boots scuffed the dirt floor, arms aching from hours of work, but she didn't stop. Stopping wasn't something she knew how to do. Here, among the hay dust and rustling animals, she could breathe, could be herself. The metal she shaped wasn't just metal. It was a possibility, a challenge, a theory she had to prove. Beneath the visor, her deep brown eyes reflected the growing storm outside, her jaw tight with focus and determination. Then the barn shifted, a creak of the door, a subtle change in the air. She didn't need to turn. She felt him before she saw him. Richard Alexander stood in the doorway, framed by the curling storm clouds. Her father, the cane in his hand, reminded her how much life had worn him, but it was the envelope in his other hand that froze her. NASA. Her chest tightened. She had never applied, or had she? The months of farm labor, of later, blurred together. The form on her desk. Had she mailed it? Buried it? Forgotten? The storm rumbled across the plains, pressing down on the barn, on the land, on her chest. Richard met her gaze steady and proud, eyes sharp despite the years etched in his face. Lighting flashed, illuminating dust and sweat, sparks and steel. Tawnie's pulse quickened. The storm was coming, and so was the moment that could change everything. Tawnie was 6, maybe 7, her small body barely brushing the tops of the tall grass as she lay on her back in the sun-drenched field. The warmth of the late afternoon wrapped around her, carrying the scent of earth and crops, and a faint sweetness that drifted from nearby flowers. Her dark eyes roamed the world in miniature, tracing the path of an ant as it navigated a tiny mound. Stopping to climb a blade of grass, a ladybug stumbled across a leaf, wings fluttering in a desperate dance. Tawnie's lips curved in a small, fascinated smile. She shifted, leaning closer, letting the details take her in. The delicate veins in the leaves, the smooth curve of stone, the subtle patterns of cracks in the soil. She rolled onto her side, cupping a handful of dirt, letting it slip slowly through her fingers. It smelled of rain and sun, of life hidden beneath the surface. Each grain felt different, some rough, some soft, some cool against her palm. Her mind, usually restless, seemed to quiet as she studied it, noticing things most would overlook. A breeze stirred in the field, rustling the tall grass in gentle waves. Tawnie rose to a crouch, peering through the green, her eyes following a grasshopper, leaping from stem to stem. She traced the path of a butterfly as it floated lazily overhead, and for a moment, the world felt both vast and intimate all at once. Finally, she stood atop a small rise, the field stretching endlessly around her. She pressed her palms against the warm soil, then tilted her head back to the sky. The clouds drifted slowly, pale and shifting, and for the first time she felt the curious hum of a bigger world waiting to be explored. Her gaze lingered on the horizon, on the line where the earth met the sky. Somewhere out there, beyond these fields, beyond this small town, there was something more, something worth chasing. And for now, she just watched, listened, and wondered. The classroom was dark, the only light coming from the flickering TV at the front. Tawnie rested her head on her folded arms, the glow catching her wide, dark eyes. The shuttle on the screen stood proud, white against the deep Florida sky, engines poised and trembling with potential. Most of the other kids slouched in their chairs, yawning or whispering to one another, uninterested. But Tawnie couldn't look away. She imagined the roar of the engines, the vibration beneath her feet, the impossible weightlessness waiting at the top of the world. A shadow fell across her desk. The boy from the back row leaned close, his voice low, cutting. "You might as well give up. It'll never happen for someone like you." Tawnie blinked, the words slicing through her focus, but she didn't flinch. She lifted her head just enough to see him, half smirked and already turning away, as if dismissing her dreams was effortless. Her fingers curled lightly into fists beneath her desk, heart thudding, but her eyes never left the shuttle. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. She had already made a silent promise. He didn't know her. He didn't know what she was willing to do. The countdown on the screen began. 10, 9, 8... Tawnie's breath synced with each number. She imagined gripping the controls, feeling the heat and vibration, being lifted past the limits others tried to impose on her. 3, 2, 1, ignition. The shuttle lifted, defying gravity, defying doubt, and somewhere deep inside, so quiet only she could hear it, Tawnie made her first real promise to herself. She would prove them all wrong. Books lined every shelf, their spines cracked and frayed with age. The air smelled faintly of ink and dust. Tawnie's footsteps were muted against the worn floorboards as she wandered the aisles. Tawnie breathed it all in, letting the quiet settle around her. Tawnie moved down the aisles with purpose, eyes scanning the spines. Today she wasn't just wandering, she was hunting. The shuttle video from class still ran in her mind, countdown and engines rattling her chest. She needed more. She had to know more. At the far end of the library, a deep blue book speckled with silver caught her eye on a high shelf. Its title shimmered under the lights, Introduction to Space, Engineering, and the Universe. She stretched fingertips brushing the spine before pulling it free, holding it to her chest. She felt the weight of possibility, the pull of something bigger than Ripley, bigger than the farm. She carried it to the checkout desk, where the librarian, kind-faced hair in a loose bun, looked up over her glasses. "You again," she said with a small smile. Tawnie set the book down, along with a few others she had grabbed, a worn astronomy guide, a physics manual, a biography of a female astronaut. "These look ambitious," the librarian said, scanning them. "They're exactly what I need," Tawnie said, voice firm but quiet. The books beeped through the scanner. "I don't doubt it. Good luck, Tawnie." Tawnie balanced the stack of books against her chest, careful not to drop any. Each one felt important in her hands, a small promise she could reach for. She pushed open the library door, sunlight spilling over her, the wind tugging at her hair. Every book was a step toward her future, toward the sky she had watched that morning, and for the first time that day she felt like nothing could hold her back. The desk lamp spilled a pool of warm light over Tawnie's textbooks, dog-eared and well-used. Outside, the Oklahoma night stretched black and endless, the stars sharp points in a velvet sky, almost daring her to understand them. Tawnie leaned forward, elbows on the wooden desk, her dark eyes scanning diagrams and formulas, flight paths, escape velocity, the balance between gravity and freedom. Each line, each equation demanded her full attention. Her pencil hovered over her notebook. She had come a long way since the library visit, since the shuttle video that had planted a spark in her chest. Those moments had been small, fleeting, but now she was serious. She didn't just want to understand space, she wanted to master it. Her hand traced the curve on the page, following the same trajectory she'd seen in the textbook, and in her mind's eye, fingers mapping constellations to calculations. The quiet scratching of pencil on paper was steady, a rhythm that she had come to rely on, a signal that she was working, moving towards something impossible, yet inevitable. A gust of wind rattled the window's panes, carrying the faint scent of rain. Tawnie didn't look up. The world outside could wait. The stars above would wait. For now, it was just her, the numbers and the blueprints that might one day carry her beyond the fields she'd always known. Her eyes flicked back to the page, reading, calculating, imaging. Fatigue tugged at her eyelids, but she ignored it. Every line she wrote, every formula she traced was another step away from doubt and toward possibility. She paused to steady her breathing, then turned the page, diving deeper into the mechanics of flight, eyes fixed, mind sharp. The barn doors groaned as they swung open, the morning light spilling in, dust notes dancing in golden shafts across the wooden floor. Tawnie stepped inside, boots scuffing softly against the dirt, eyes wide, breath catching at the familiar smell of sawdust, oil, and old wood. This place wasn't just a barn. It was a playground of possibility. Rows of tools and spare parts lined the shelves, bolts and gears scattered like a metallic constellation. Half-finished machines whispered of projects long paused, waiting for hands willing enough to bring them to life. Her father walked beside her, calm and steady, watching her take it all in. He had taught her how to hold a wrench, how to read the curves of metal, how to hear the hum of a machine before it spoke. Today, she was ready to speak back. Tawnie's fingers hovered over the workbench, brushing over tools of wire, old motors, and a jumble of scrap metal. She picked up a small coil, turning it in her hands, imagining how it might fit into an experiment she had been dreaming of since the library and the shuttle video. "Go on," her father said quietly. "Try something. See what happens." She set the coil down, then grabbed a piece of sheet metal and began shaping it, hammering it in one hand, determination in the other. Sparks flew as her tools met the surface, small bursts of light reflected in her wild, intent eyes. Every strike, every twist, every click of a bolt was a question she was asking the universe, and for the first time getting a partial answer. The barn hummed with energy. The quiet rhythm of effort, the smell of metal and oil mixing with the warm wood, the faint echo of past generations working beside her in spirit. Tawnie moved with care, but also with a wild curiosity, testing, adjusting, learning through her hands what the books had only taught her in theory. Her father leaned against the workbench, arms crossed, a quiet pride in his gaze. He didn't need to speak. She could feel it in the way he watched, the way he gave her the space to make mistakes, to explore, to invent. Outside, the Oklahoma wind stirred the trees, carrying the scent of rain that would come later. Inside, Tawnie traced the lines of her first real experiment, the rhythm of hammering and that bending metal matching the beat of her heart. Here, among the dust and the sunlight, theory became action, and curiosity became something tangible, something she could touch, shape, and ultimately master.